So, how long have you been forging?
Well, I probably started in 2014, but I started my business up in 2015. So, however many years that is now, what is that, 5, 6 years?
What inspired you to start forging?
I was making a lot of pallet furniture, rustic kind of stuff, and I wanted to start incorporating old school metalworking into my stuff. So I went out, bought all this equipment, and first thing I ended up was making a knife, and I haven't worked on much furniture since.
What is your favorite weapon to forge?
You know what? I kind of have two dynasties that I really am into the most, and that's the hunting and then the culinary side of things. So probably my Western French chef is one of my favorite chef's knives to make, and then probably one of my chicken hawks, which is one of my hunters that I make a lot of. That's probably my favorite EDC style hunting knife that I like to make.
How many states have you sold to?
Oh man, I got to be getting real close to pretty much every state in the U.S. I actually just hit Alaska a couple weeks ago, so that was a new one. But I never now it'd be hard to track all that. When I first started, it would have been real easy if I would have started from day one to track that. But now I don't know that I could even figure it out.
What was it like being on Forged in Fire?
Yeah, that was awesome because like you had mentioned to me, when I first got into this, that show was just starting. Like I was looking online for anything about blacksmithing, and I was watching Milwaukee Blacksmith. There was another one called Iron and Fire that I was watching. Not Mountain Men. There was another one before that Daniel Casey was on. Daniel Casey actually makes muzzle loaders and things of that nature. He ended up going on Forged in Fire too. So I was like, I was really into that show, and I wanted to get on that show bad. So yeah, that was season 1.
About how long does it take you to make a knife?
That's a tough question to answer. I know I did it in 6 hours on the show, so I know I can do it if I have to that fast. But I run batches. I've got knives in all stages, so to pinpoint how much time I spent on one knife, it's hard to do because I'm working on heat treating on a blade or on a run of blades. I do anywhere from 5 to 10, sometimes 15 blades in a single run, and they all go through certain processes of what I do to them. And like I said, to put a number on it, it's tough, but I can say it's probably between 8 to 10 hours per blade.
What is your favorite type of steel to work with?
Right now, I'm doing a lot with just strictly 80 CRV2. I have found that to be a super durable steel. It gets really, really hard, and it's a little bit more corrosion resistant. But I've worked with 1095 a lot too. I did a lot of stuff with 1095. That's a great steel. I'm actually working on a cable Damascus with a 1095 core right now. That should be pretty cool when that's done.
What is the hardest step when making a knife?
Probably the heat treat. And it's like you've got to know the recipe for each steel that you work with because each steel is different. 1095, you can quench that stuff between, I want to say 1450 and 1550, where 80 CRV2, you want to be up around 1575, almost pushing 1600 degrees.
Where can people find work that you have done?
You can see my work on Instagram, Facebook. I've got a website out there. Unfortunately, there's nothing for sale on there right now just because of my current situation. I'm not taking any orders. I'm just making what I can make and then posting those blades. I've been actually auctioning everything off lately. It gives everybody a fair chance at getting a blade. I tried putting them on my website, and I'd say, hey, there's a couple of blades on my website, and within 5 minutes they're gone. And this way, if I auction it off, it gives people the opportunity to place a bid on it. And it's good for me too because right now I'm not as able to make as many knives as I could, and the knives are going for probably double what I would normally charge for them in the auction, so it's kind of helping me out a lot.
What advice would you give to a new bladesmith?
New bladesmiths, do a lot of research and just try stuff. Try to keep it simple. That's my first piece of advice. Keep it simple. Once you master the simple stuff, then start adding something to it. That's kind of the progression that I took. I started off with some smaller chef's knives and some smaller hunting style knives and just really basic stuff. And then I started adding stuff to that, like doing multiple piece handles. You know, this blade right here has 2 pieces of carbon fiber, then some Buckeye burl, and then it's got red, white, and blue liners on it. You know, this is a complex handle to build. So as you get better, start trying stuff like that out. That's my advice.